So, so if you follow these steps, you will be able to answer or get at least 6 to 7 marks out of this 15 marks scenario question without being good in the programming. So this is targeted for people who are not good in programming. So what we do is that I try to identify and search for all the standard algorithms mentioned inside the features or the requirement of the exam. The first thing is we talk about input validation. So once we see the input validation, we start to list down the template, and then we start to modify the template. Let's go through this, the remaining of the steps, and then we go through the input validation. So after we do that with the input validation, we change the template to fit in the exam question, then we move into other algorithms that is required, like minimum, maximum, search, sorting, and so on. The most important thing that you can actually guarantee to get marks for is actually to add comments. And I got something for you that can help you. So I make for you something like an examples of how you can turn part of the exam question itself or the requirement of the exam question into comments that you can use it to get marks for you. That can guarantee you 2 to 4 marks at least. Okay. And then we are also able to write down the output variables in print statements, and that can guarantee us marks even without the ability to write the code in between. Okay, so as we said, we are focusing on how much marks we are able to get out from here. So okay, let me give you an example. So this is a common examples that we are having here. So if the question wording say ask a user to input, so you can comment on top of the code, ask the user to enter. If the question say validate the input, so you can say as a comment using the hashtag check if the input is within the range, if within the valid range. Repeat until valid, you are able to convert it to loop. Repeat means loop. So loop until valid input is given. Choose wood type from a list. Let the user select the wood type from the predefined list. So you are changing here the wording from the exam into a comments. So there is a specific complete document with more than I believe 20 or 30 examples of how you can take the wording from the exam question and make it as if it is a comment. So you don't have to create comments out of your mind. Store the values means that save the values into arrays for later use. This is an example. Calculate the area of the floor, calculate the floor area using length multiplied by width. So this is comments. Okay, so the more comments you have, the more marks you get. Okay, so even if you don't write a code, so I mean, let us put it this way: don't leave the blank empty. Okay, so okay, I make a PDF file. I will be putting this the link for the PDF file for all the possible 20 to 30 lines of comments, example comments that you're able to use, or how to convert the features or the question wording into comments. Okay, so you are able to download that later. I will put it in the link under the video. So now have a look here. I'm listing all the variable names, and that is very important. That's not part of the question itself, but it's important for us because if we don't know the variable names, then we are not able to modify our templates or even write our output without knowing the variable names. So we have to list down all the variable names. So customers, this is the variable name, that this is a 1D array that will store all the names of the customers. Quotations is a 2D array that will store the length, width, area, wood choice, and price. Okay, what about wood type and price? This is two 1D arrays that stores, this will store the wood types. Okay, and he gave me a table with that mention all the wood types and their prices. So we store the price per square meter for each wood type in a separate 1D array. So it will be just, I will show it to you in the next slide. So we have length, width, area. So you see here, we have those length, width, area, wood choice, and price. So this is the choice for the wood, and this is length, width, area, unit price, and total price. So if we list all these variables, that will help us a lot, especially if we would like to print the output. Okay, so without these variables, without creating a list of these variables or even initializing them, how can we write the output? Okay, so the output is just writing a variable within the proper print statement. Okay, this is just so simple. Okay, so as we said, we have to list down all the standard algorithms, and we start with the validation at the moment, and then we go later to see if there is other algorithms that we are able to use. So in this exam question, we have validation and we have searching or indexing. So let us look at the validation before we close this video. But before we look at that, so the whole code here need to be enclosed within this kind of code. Why? So all the steps that you're going to write up afterwards, including the validation and the output and so on, need to be included in a while loop. Why? Because he said one word at the end of the question. He said, continue to accept the next customer. So it means that after you enter a certain customer name and details, he would like you to enter details for a new customer. How can you do that? Unless it's a loop. So we need to write while loop, while true, like that. So it means that this loop will run forever. And then at the end of our code, after we print the output, we say again, and then we ask the user to say yes or no. If he say yes, so we take the input from the user, we change it to upper letters, and we say, if it is not yes, if it is not Y, then we break. If it is yes, for example, or if he doesn't write yes, then we will break. If he write yes, we will loop again and run the whole code again, which means that we enter a new customer again, and we take all the details, we calculate all the area, and we print a new output. Okay. So this is also a part that you cannot miss out, because that is like a free marks. Very simple. Okay, now let us look at the first requirement. So this is quite simple. So he gave us a table that is full of data, and he asked us that we need to initialize wood type and price. So wood type and price will have to contain the data here. Laminate, pine, oak, and the price is 29.99, and then the last price would be 54.99. So what is this? From where I get those? I get those from this table. If you look here, he said, okay, the index is 1, and this is the wood types and the price per square meter. Okay. The tricky part is that he's saying index 1. So that can confuse people a bit, but I would say that you should not worry about that. We will explain that into more details. At the moment, so this is how we initialize our our arrays, wood type and price. And definitely at the moment, from how it looks here, we are actually starting with index 0, 1, and 2. Index 0, 1, and 2, which means that the laminate is actually got this price. So one way actually to overcome his requirement, but because he put the index equal 1, is that we actually insert something here like an empty string with a comma like that, and then we put insert here a comma, and we put 0. So if we do that, it means that we are shifting our index to start here from 1, 2, and 3. And then also our index here will be here 0, here 1, 2, and 3. How I'm doing that, I will show you in the next slide.